Today, we're going to talk about 3 helpful tips so that you can competitively write offers in this market. Hey, I'm Josh Frappier, team leader with the Coastal Life team here at Cameron Real Estate. Today, let's talk about 3 ways that you can help yourself get competitive in this market when it is really competitive when writing offers. So the first thing you want to think about is putting a team together for yourself. You want to think about who is actually going to be in your corner helping you write this offer. And typically you want to have this team formatted, put together in advance. You definitely don't want to be the person going into an open house, falling in love with it, and then saying, oh crap, I gotta get an offer put together. Because a lot of times people end up writing offers right there on the spot, and it may not be in your best interest. So let's talk about how to actually unpack that. If you're searching for a home, and I can say from my experience with a lot of the people that we've worked with, most people are searching for a home from anywhere from 6 months up to years. A lot of our clients and people that we've worked with, they've been searching for 2 years or more. And a lot of times you're in this phase of just searching and getting familiar with the market and getting familiar with prices just to see what's happening. So if you start to get closer to the point where you think that you're going to be writing an offer, you definitely need to have a team put together, and I would suggest doing this anywhere from several months in advance to up to a year before you actually write your offer. Reason being is because you want to make sure that you're actually working with someone that you trust. You want to make sure that you're getting a plan put together from your team. And who does your team involve? The first person you're going to want to talk to is your realtor. So your realtor is going to help you understand what this market actually looks like. What does it entail with writing an offer? Because a lot of times you're going to be finding a place that you like, and you might have to take that hard reality and learning what other people are willing to do. Because it is a seller's market, which means that there's just simply less supply than there is demand. There's much more buyers than there are sellers right now. And I don't think that that's going to change in the near future. So the best thing that you can do is, like I said, get that team together, have a realtor guide you on what it is that you need to be putting together and understand for this market. A lot of times you need to think about how much are you going to offer on a home, because most of these are selling over asking. What kind of contingencies do you need to have? Because a lot of the standard contingencies with the home inspection, the appraisal, the financing, a lot of buyers are getting competitive because there's only so much you can do as far as going up in the price. So you have to consider what is it that you can do with the contingencies. So that's where the realtor comes into play. And the loan officer is the next big piece there. So it doesn't necessarily matter which one you're going to talk to first, because regardless, the realtor, as soon as they talk to you and start to give you a plan, they're going to make sure that you talk to a trusted and qualified loan officer as well. So definitely want to talk to a loan officer. They'll help you understand what the prices are going to look like, where your qualification lies, and you're going to need that in advance too. You want to make sure you have a pre-approval done, ready to go, so that you can even get into some of these properties. Now, the second thing here is that you need to focus on is having a game plan. I already touched on a little bit of it with what you need to consider for contingencies. This is where your realtor is really going to shine, because most of the success is in the pre-planning. It's not in the actual transaction, because a lot of that is standard. It is going with the flow to some degree, right? The realtor shows up in planning, getting you competitive so that you can get an accepted offer. And then, like I said, when you're in transaction and guiding you on all those next milestones. But considering how competitive this market is, that's where you need to really think about who it is that you want working for you, because who you work with does matter. So think about that game plan. What does it look like for you? Are you going to be willing to waive inspection? A lot of people are doing that. It's never anything that we necessarily recommend, but there are people doing that. So you need to at least consider options like waiving your inspection, doing an inspection for informational purposes only. What that simply means is that you're conducting the inspection, but you can't necessarily negotiate anything from the inspection results. So it's great. It's a win-win situation in a competitive market like this because you still get to go in with a yes or no. Do I want to move forward based on the inspection results? And the seller knows that they're not going to get nickeled and dimed per se from the buyer. And then the next thing that a lot of people are doing is they look at the appraisal, and appraisals are, they are going to hit a ceiling to some degree as far as offers going well above the asking price, because they can't just accept every offer. The bank needs to make sure that they're lending the correct amount for a home versus over-lending. They certainly don't want to overpay themselves. So the appraisers, a lot of times they are coming in short of what the offer is. So keep that in mind, that there might be some situation where the appraisal comes in low, and what a lot of buyers are doing is they'll actually cover the difference. So if the home appraises at $500 and you offered $520, now there's a $20,000 difference here. And a lot of times buyers are getting competitive by offering to pay some of those costs out of pocket. Because if the bank is only going to loan you $500 and the seller wants to make that $520, maybe you have an extra $5, $10, $15, or the entire $20 to cover the difference. So that's just something to think about, something to talk about with your loan officer in advance. And then a lot of the other details can be worked out in a more in-depth conversation with your loan officer. So let's go into the third item here, and that is really understanding your wants versus your needs. So a lot of times when we're thinking about the home that we want, we're thinking about our dream home, whether it's your first home, your second home, or your third home. And in this market, unfortunately, you might have to think a little differently. Think about what you truly need versus what you want. Especially for first-time buyers, it's good to know that the statistic is that most first-time buyers, they're usually not in their first home for more than 5 to 7 or maybe even 10 years. So maybe there are some things that you can go without up front. And it's gonna help talking to a realtor, talking to a loan officer to understand what it actually means financially to just get into a home. Because a lot of times people will sit and wait and take their time so that the right home comes up. And that might take you a year, it might take you 2 years to find that right home. But look at where prices are going up, right? So 2 years ago they were here, 2 years down the road, they're all the way up here. So now you're paying more, and considering how you might not even be in that home for more than 5 years, at the end of the day, it's your first home, right? So think about what that investment truly looks like for you. Think about, are you gonna be in there for 5 years? Are you gonna be in there for 2 years? Or is it your lifetime home? And that might help you decide whether or not you should go buy that condo because it's more affordable to you. That peace of mind, that quality of life might be a very, very strong determining factor on whether or not you should buy that condo now versus waiting to get that single family home that would be the dream home. So understanding your wants versus needs is very important, and it's going to help you determine exactly what it is that you need to be aiming your sights on with the correct plan, because every avenue you go is going to take a different plan. And that's where your team really comes into play so that you can actually put together a strong plan. If you're interested in buying a house, or you have any questions about what you need to do to get competitive in this market, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach me directly at 978-994-9587. Again, this is Josh with the Coastal Life team. Thanks for watching this video.